Good evening, all you Minties, and welcome back to another episode of Reelz Talk with your host, the amazing Amanda, and my lovely co-host, the Uncanny Omar.
How's it going, everybody? Tonight we are talking about the DCEU and the future of the DCEU. We don't even know if that's what it is going to be called. They very well could change the name to the DC Studios.
Well, who knows? I mean, we don't even know what HBO Max will be called in a year, so everything's up in the air.
Everything is up in the air except for the time this show started at 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. How's everybody doing?
Yes.
So we haven't gotten together. We got together to do the Sandman review, which was a lot of fun. And we haven't gotten together for the last couple of weeks because we've had some things happening personally. But now we're back to our semi-normal schedule, except for She-Hulk. I think we're airing that on Sunday instead of Friday.
Because of another personal thing.
Shut it. Give more people a chance to watch it. All right. So let's talk. Yeah, TBS, dude, right? TBS used to always go with the 05s, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's not a bad thing. Yeah. We're just getting ourselves ready. Got my notes.
What else I forgot about? The Game of Thrones show starts this Sunday.
Yeah, I know. And then Lord of the Rings, they moved up. The Rings of Power, they moved that up a day. It's released for some reason, I think, to the 1st of September instead of the 2nd. Yep. Not quite sure why they decided to do that, but regardless.
I don't know, maybe to compete. But anyway, so we're going to figure out our schedule to review these things. It would be really fun to do like a watch party or maybe with one of these things. But hopefully everybody's having a good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and start talking about what's happened in the last couple of weeks with the DC.
So basically, I know we've kind of been back and forth on what we're going to talk about this week, but with everything that's going on with the DCEU, I have a lot of thoughts. Omar has a lot of thoughts. And I know you guys have a lot of thoughts because ever since I had to move, the Zaslav, the new CEO for Warner Brothers Discovery, whenever the merger happened, he just has thrown a wrench in everything, changed up a lot, canceled some things, and kind of put out what he calls, he didn't put out a full-fledged 10-year plan, but he's talking about they're developing a 10-year plan with a Kevin Feige-like head for the DC properties. So all this started about a week ago-ish, when they decided to cancel 2 weeks ago, when they decided to cancel Batgirl. Now, the next time after they canceled Batgirl, they also then canceled the Wonder Twins, which I think Omar just talked about maybe a month ago, the casting updates, because they casted the one girl from the 1884 or 1883, sorry, show on Paramount Plus. Yeah, and the guy from Riverdale. And they went ahead and canceled that as well. It is worthwhile to note that both of these properties we're talking about that got canceled are HBO Max movies. They are not movies made for theatrical release, which I think plays a large part in what Zaslav's mindset is, especially when he went into his earnings call. And they had their earnings call right after the cancellation of Batgirl. And basically he said, they'd rather take the write-off, right, for instead of, I guess the test audience, it went through first-round test audience, didn't do so well. So instead of just throwing it out there, they decided to cancel it and take the write-off. And he also made a strong mention about focusing more on the theatrical experience and less on making movies for their streaming services, because he does not see the value in made for streaming movies.
It is important to note that there's a big difference in canceling Batgirl, a product that's already finished, and canceling something they haven't even. I don't think Wonder Twins had a director, right?
No, I don't think it did. Well, no, it had to have. They already casted actors. I just don't remember who the director is off the top of my head.
But I mean, they shot it was post-production. They were editing Batgirl. It was supposed to come out later this year. Big deal, because it was also the return of Michael Keaton as Batman. And we really didn't know where it was going to fit into all of this, because it was supposed to take place after Flashpoint. But that is really interesting that they decided to cancel it. That will forever be the movie with the longest director's cut, though.
Yeah, right. If it ever gets released, it'll be the longest director's cut.
Over almost 2 hours of director's cut footage. That sucks. I mean, it really sucks for the people that were making it, and all the people behind it, the directors, how they found out. What's really interesting is that I saw that it was I read an article that apparently the test score for Black Adam was identical to the test score of Batgirl.
Yeah.
So why did they scrap one? Because they want to focus on the movies in the movie theater? Is that, I assume that's why they kept Black Adam? Or is The Rock just too big to say, hey, we're canceling your movie, sir?
Well, I'm sure that does play a part in it, but I do think a large part of it is because he does not want to, he wants to focus on scripted dramas, which that's why, James Gunn's Peacemaker season 2, and of course, all of our movies are still safe that are being released theatrically. Blue Beetle really got lucky there because it was originally supposed to be an HBO Max movie, but then December of 2021, Warner Brothers decided they wanted to release it theatrically. Mm-hmm. And that's coming out in August of next year. And so I think that's one of the saving grace for that. Of course, we don't know what the test audiences look like because they're still filming. They may have just wrapped filming. So they're probably in post-production, not even ready to show that for a test audience. Yes, that's true, Mr. DC Comics.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree with that. If they got paid, that would be fun. Yeah, but I mean, if you're a visionary or if you're artistic, you want to see your vision come through, right? I mean, if you're an actor, especially if you're at the beginning of your career, a role like, I don't know, I'm not saying Batgirl. I don't know how well she would, but that can lock you into another role later on. So It sucks that things like that. I'll say release it. What the hell? What we know you're going to revamp the universe. So what's the point of canceling these things?
It. I guess the money it would cost to go ahead and actually put it through into production. His whole thing is just wanting that quality and instead of quantity, which I understand, but at the same time, it is weird that they would just scrap it. However, he has no plans from what we know of to cancel any of our major theatrical releases. And of course, James Gunn's multiple projects. Now, it sounds like a lot of his projects are going to be limited series or series on HBO Max or whatever the future product is going to look like. Because also on this call, we did learn that they are combining Discovery Plus and HBO Max. It will premiere as a new streaming service next summer. We don't know what it'll be called yet, though. Maybe it'll just be the Max.
Well, it's I will say, at least here in America, like you get free HBO Max if you have an AT&T phone bill, right? Like they give you that kind of things. Mm-hmm. That immediately went away. Like, so you no longer get HBO Max if you have AT&T. Even the people that work at AT&T were pissed about that.
Yes.
So I'm sure it'll be Discovery. I don't even know what they will call it. This whatever it is going to be different. That's for sure. So as far as cancellations, we have Batgirl so far. That was the big one because that movie's already done. And we've had these future projects that we're going to do, like Wonder Twins, I believe Supergirl, that was supposed to spin out of the Flashpoint movie. Or what the hell was the movie called? Was it called I always forget this. Was it Flashpoint or Flash?
Right now it's just the Flash.
Right now it ain't shit.
Right now it ain't shit, which is another thing. That's another development that's happened besides. So obviously in this interim, the big question is, on that earnings call, he mentioned that they'd seen cuts of Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash, and said they were really great. He also announced the same time that Lady Gaga announced it on her Instagram that Joker 2 Folie à Deux was going to come out, and I guess it's going to be a musical. So this is going to be an interesting Todd Phillips production. That is a complete 180 from anything I remember him doing. But this is the direction he's going in now. So as far as we know, that stuff is still planned. There has been no news about a lot of other things that we have heard about that have been teased, like Static Shock, for example. As far as we know, that's
still safe, right?
Yeah, because that was supposed to be, I believe, a theatrical movie. So that's still on track in some type of, writing stage or pre-production stage. So that's something that could still possibly come out. And then, there's also the possibility that Green Lantern Corps movie that they were talking about as well.
But that was a TV show that they were going to work on.
I think it was a series. Yes, you're right. Yeah, it's a television series, which would be really cool to see that as well. So that's something that's coming out, that might be coming out. Supergirl right now is still TBD. They haven't scrapped it yet, but we just haven't seen anything other than someone was cast. I think it was Sasha Calle, who's from The Young and the Restless. She was casted as Kara for the Flash feature film. So we have a number of these projects that still can potentially come out, but right now they're all in pre-production. And let's face it, if Ava DuVernay's New Gods can get shelved, I'm saying I would think that none of these things are really safe until Zaslav gets what he wants, which is his Kevin Feige-like head of the DCEU. And that is what he's looking for now. I'm sure you've probably heard the rumors that they've been looking at Greg Berlanti, who ran the Arrowverse for a long time, which is now coming to an end, minus a few like Superman and Lois and Stargirl, but they said they're not in the same universe technically. To vanquish it is a good. That is a good.
I have so many thoughts about this. Like, I'm kind of glad we waited to do this. I'm kind of glad, the universe.
So more things can come out.
Not just that, but also like, so you could sit on it. Because at first, when you hear these news, you're angry, right? Like, oh crap, nothing's safe. What the hell is DCU doing, right? The only thing that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con were trailers to 2 movies we've known about for 3 years. Nothing to look forward to. We know we have DC fandom, but what is DC fandom? I mean, if they're looking for somebody right now, how in the world are they going to have a plan by DC fandom? Here's our 10-year plan. Hell, anybody can say I have a 10-year plan. I get it. I think I've actually said that like on a date.
Yeah.
But you have to show people. And then the sad part about all this is that you have to make people believe. Whenever you have cancellations, they immediately turn their back on you. A lot of people, not all of us, right? We'll still go see the movies, but a lot of people immediately turn their back on you. You know how many people are sure like the average moviegoers are confused when going to see a new Batman movie every 5 years, and then all of a sudden Michael Keaton's back. And you're like, wait a second, I thought the guy from Twilight was Batman. Who's this guy? And why is Ben Affleck over here? What is all this? Like, say what you will about Marvel. Marvel did it right, but I think at this point, DC needs to do something different. I don't want them to do a cookie cutter. Okay, let's start off with the 3 movies that will lead into this movie. That movie leads into this, and here's our 10-year plan. I don't think that's what they need. They need to stand out. And I honestly was liking the way they were doing it with Shazam. It almost felt like it was a pocket universe. It almost felt like, Superman is there, but we never saw his face, so it could be another Superman. Joker, I wasn't the biggest fan. I know a lot of people loved it.
Getting that musical sequel.
It was a standalone pocket universe. It didn't fit into any of the Batman movies. Suicide Squad, Oscar-winning Suicide Squad, different Joker.
Well, let's say the second was a little better.
But
they're in their own, like they're in the universe, but they don't have to be interconnected so strictly as some of the Marvel properties are, and even Marvel's starting to. Yeah, that's a good point.
So this is a good comment. I don't see DC fandom coming out. Seriously.
They haven't announced it, so
the only thing they could do with DC fandom right now is give you an idea of what the comics are going to be. I assume, but even the comics are a little bit of a mess for people that watch my channel for graphic novels and collected editions. There are no Omnis in the next catalog. Mm-hmm. And they should have been there by now, but they're still not really there. Maybe I'm kind of hoping they take this time to kind of reshuffle everything around again and get us the people that we need in the right places. So it definitely is a weird position to be in, right? After the whole merger or after the whole AT&T thing, Warner Brothers, and now Discovery. It's like nobody wants DC. It's too much of a gamble, too much of a hassle. And I feel bad because there's a lot of strong and good properties there that they can make it. I mean, I've said this so many times on this channel since Amanda and I have been doing comic book movie reviews. There's no damn reason on this planet why Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie, does better than Superman or Batman. Superman and Batman are recognizable names no matter where you go across the globe. Nobody knew who the hell Rocket Raccoon was. You know what I'm saying?
But now they do. Yeah, no, I agree.
But I mean, recognizable through the decades. Like somebody's grandfather knows who Superman is. It's just, it's such a stapled icon. How is this failing?
Yeah.
So
exactly. Well, and the thing is Zaslav.
Yeah, a super chat. Thank you so much, Mr. DC Comics. J.J. Abrams and Greg Berlanti are the worst. What did Abrams do?
I'll just see. I thought he was trying to go with someone more of a business mindset, so I don't think Greg Berlanti will be who he chooses. But when it comes to, Zaslav, during that earnings call, he did note that DC is a strong, well-known property. He wants to see it succeed. So he's not saying that. So I think that he has a lot of time right now we already have up until August of 2023, which is when Blue Beetle comes out. So we already have 5, if you count The Flash, which let's talk about that in a second. We have 5 movies planning to come out within the next year. So that gives him some time to find someone, develop a plan and a way to move forward. Meanwhile, working with creatives who are already working on things and figuring out what the next steps are. So he has a little bit of time. I know a year does creep up a lot faster than we usually expect, but he does have some time. Well,
but why cancel good shows like Doom Patrol? We haven't heard.
No, they just wrapped production, Tevya, on Doom Patrol season 4, like today. I saw an article on it. So they just wrapped season 4 up.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it's safe still.
That's true.
At any moment, if they're like, hey, we're wiping the slate clean, sorry. I mean, look at Batgirl, right? $90 million. Like, I don't have that much money to be like, well.
Yeah. But the thing is, like with Doom Patrol, like someone had mentioned Young Justice not having anything after season 5. We have to remember a lot of these streaming shows don't last as many seasons as our cable network shows did. 4 to 5 seasons is usually what we're seeing, right? I mean, Stranger Things wrapping up after the 5th season, right? This is the last season that they're going to have it. There's a number of different things that they're not lasting as long because they are expensive to make if you don't have that ad revenue. Now, I think HBO, since Discovery Plus had an ad-supported subscription option, I have a feeling they're going to try that out with this new combined service to help pay for some of these big projects, because that's the big question about Netflix, right? How are they paying for all these large properties with all these stars when they don't have the ad, they don't have the ads that cable network does, for example, and things like that. That's why HBO kind of stood out a little bit, because it was also a cable network as well as became a streaming service later. So, I mean, 4 seasons is still not bad for a streaming service if they decide not to renew Doom Patrol after that.
There's a lot of good comments, a lot of good conversations in the chat right now. I'm just picking a couple here. How can they expect fans to stay loyal or be interested between their years of long controversy with the Snyder Cut and now canceling Batgirl? They need a complete reset. It almost feels like that wouldn't be the best approach, because you need to restore the faith of those people that are like, hey, I'm really looking forward to this movie. I don't understand why people are upset about the Batgirl cancellation. About time they started screening the quality of their projects. Nobody heard about it before the cancellation. I think there were a lot of people that were excited about Batgirl, mainly because, well, for us older fans, we knew Michael Keaton was coming back in it. And I mean, and I'll be honest, we don't have that many DC movies, right? So I was excited for another DC movie. Yeah, it was an HBO one, but so was the Zack Snyder Cut, and I think I enjoyed the Snyder Cut. I don't.
Yeah, and the Snyder Cut was thank you, Meownian, for super chat.
As always, DC is a taxi with no driver. Oh well. Yeah. Maybe. Go ahead, Amanda. What were you saying?
But no, I mean, the Snyder Cut honestly was it just came together because I only say the pandemic helped it come together at a time when no one could really put movies out on or in theaters because of what happened. So it was kind of like the perfect storm of what could be. And Warner Brothers like, let's give the fans what they want. So, I mean, in that respect, that's a unicorn when it comes to, for DC and their movies on HBO Max. Because other than that, they haven't had any other strictly HBO Max movies.
somebody was mentioning the WB and the CW.
Well, the CW was just sold, so they no longer own the CW. They sold it to Nexstar, and they only have like 12% share now. So as far as the actual network, it is not a WB owned network anymore either.
So let's talk about the CW then.
Huh?
Let's talk about the CW. So then what does that mean for the shows like Lois and Clark? Or not Lois and Clark, I'm sorry.
Superman and Lois. Yeah, so those right now are still, they did cancel a lot of properties, not just DC properties. They also canceled a lot of like Riverdale technically is a DC property, but they've canceled a lot of other shows like the Vampire Diaries spinoff Legacies, for example, canceled that. And a number of other things too. They kept Stargirl, Superman and Lois, and I think Flash is ending at season 9.
Wait, they canceled Superman and Lois?
No, they canceled it. That's sticking around, but it's in its own universe.
That's going through its own thing right now because the oldest son has left the show on his own accord, right? But that's so weird to leave 3 years in, and he didn't show up for set. Holy crap! Like
I know
that. I mean, there goes your career, right? Unless he's got picked up to be Iron Lad in the new Iron Man movie.
Nope, they only have one Iron Lad. They're not going to recast him.
Yeah, we got Riri for that though. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to go through its own things. So, we have another super chat from Terry Young. As a fan, I still want to see a shared DC universe done right. See the relationship relationship between Superman and Nightwing, Lex and Joker teaming up. And I believe with a clean slate is the only way to do that, right? I mean, at this point. But do we need to wipe the slate clean completely? Like,
no, I don't think so.
Before we talk about it, what other news have we heard about?
Well, the last news, because we talked about things not getting canceled, right? So there's that one movie, that one what if that's hanging in the air, and that's The Flash, which is supposed to come out on June 23rd of 2023. But obviously, around the same time all this was happening, even though he said he saw, The Flash and it looks good, there's also that exterior stuff going on with Ezra Miller. Mm-hmm. And then right after this, the announcement, then came out this news about him. They were wanted for burglary in Vermont or somewhere up north. And then we just found out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that they had their PR people announce that they were going to be seeking treatment for their complex mental health issues. And they apologized to everyone, which very much seems like a DC or Zaslav stepped in and said, handle this, PR team. Let's get this handled, because he still wants to put that movie out. So what does that look like at the end of the day? We don't know, but it looks like a hand was forced, and now Ezra Miller's on a path to recovery, I hope. And that way it makes room for next year. A whole year can go by, and they will either not promote the movie or it'll just come out quietly. I don't know. But that's the biggest, like, of late news after all the cancellations and everything that's going on, is kind of what to do about the Flash. Because someone earlier, I think it was Torsten, stated, what if they canceled Batgirl because it didn't make sense without the Flash and it was supposed to come out before the Flash? And so
that's a really that's on them, and that's a really stupid decision, because then you, at this point, I just say release the stupid movie on HBO Max, because people that are not, I mean, look how many people have already turned their back on it, and the people that are going to see it are still going to go see it, and it's not, I mean, we're not prolonging this is just making it worse. And I guess they do have to save face, so they have Ezra Miller make a statement, and I assume apologizing and seeking help, which is great. I hope they get help that they need, but it's just a really weird thing. We are not seeing Ezra Miller in another future. I will be really surprised if Ezra Miller is the Flash in the new reboot of DC Universe. How about that? That would really surprise me.
Yeah, and that's a good segue to talk about the next part of DC. So obviously they have a whole year with movies already slated to come out, right? We already know James Gunn is working on Peacemaker 2. I assume that will probably go into production next year.
So that's one that is safe right now.
Yeah, that's safe. Well, it's James Gunn. He also working on a few things. Idris Elba teased Bloodsport again, perhaps. So we might be seeing something with him coming out down the pike with, I think, maybe James Gunn writing and directing it. But yeah, let's talk about, if this 10-year plan, what it entails. I mean, obviously, I don't know all the executives beyond like the rumored Greg Berlanti. So we could talk about who do they want to be in charge of the DCEU. But what I'm more interested in is what are they going to do with the DCEU, right? I see a lot of people in the comments have a lot of suggestions on what they should do. And, one of the things that I note is to completely restore the Ezra, to completely reset like all the characters and things like that, all the actors, especially when there are actors who are good in their roles and are well liked in their roles. Like, right, Jason Momoa, everyone loves him as Aquaman. What's the point of recasting him for the sake of resetting the whole universe, right? They could bring back Henry Cavill as Superman and do the Superman justice that we need.
I think at this point it's just
gone for.
Well, I mean, what's the point, right? Henry Cavill hasn't been in a Superman suit since the Justice League movie, correct?
And yeah, but doesn't mean that we can't bring him back. I mean, in some capacity.
I love Henry Cavill. I think he's great. But if we're going to restore the DC universe, maybe it's time to start looking elsewhere. And no offense to Jason, but that's just my thoughts on that. I think the perfect time to reboot it, though, would be with something like Flashpoint.
Which I'm assuming that the movie is what that is, right? It is.
I don't think that was the original idea. I think the ending is going to be completely changed to make it fit whatever vision they have. And maybe that's why they're prolonging it, right? Maybe that's why they're like, hey, we'll wait until 2023 because we are scrapping the ending, reshooting without Ezra, and we're going to, once they have that vision, they're going to be like, this is where we're going forward whenever they step through and become the new restored DC universe.
Yeah.
Whether that's Zack Snyder coming back and having a 5-year plan, doing another Superman movie or another Justice League movie, whether they pull some of Marvel's directors, they already had James Gunn. They could very well pull other directors or get some young blood.
Well, to be fair, the writers for Batgirl were also writers/directors on, I think the directors for Batgirl. No, the writers. I can't remember.
Thank you, Riv, for the super chat. Omar, I need a new like button. Mine's been smashed.
Nice.
Thank you for that super chat, and thank you for reminding everybody to smash that like button. We have Terry's thoughts on this. Thank you for the super chat, Terry. Full reboot, all new actors for the Trinity. I am with Terry on this. Start with a new Superman film, 2025, and solo films leading to Justice League. Simple. Keep the stuff like Battison and Joker 2 separate, Elseworld Studios, which they very well could. Because I think that was another one I was going to ask about. How does Batman fit into all of this? But then again, Batman has always been Batman. And even if they recast for whatever they're going for moving forward, I think most people would be okay. They would still go and see it.
I would be okay with them keeping some of the original actors. Like, I would mind Zachary Levi staying on as Shazam. Obviously, The Rock, they'll want to keep him on as Black Adam if Black Adam does as well as they think it's going to do, which we'll know in a couple of months. Apparently, it comes out on my daughter's first birthday. Well, that's going to be an interesting birthday trip.
Guess where we're going? Guess where
we're going to see Batman. We're going to see Black Adam for her first birthday. And even like Blue Beetle and things like that. I mean, the Flash would be the only ones. I'd be okay if Flashpoint just got rid of the Flash for a while. And let's maybe introduce the Green Lantern, like do a Green Lantern, movie instead of a TV show. And then we can filter into it, which could then filter into a Green Lantern core TV show. It'd be good to bring like Jon Stewart as Green Lantern in as one of those main ones. Just because Ryan Reynolds messed it up. No, he didn't mess it up. But just because that got messed up so long ago, we could try another time to do Green Lantern.
No more multiverse trash. Well, DC is the granddaddy of the multiverse. So if anybody's going to do it, I think they should do it. And with a crisis, with a new bang, with you start over. I'm okay with that. I think you are right, though. When I was thinking about how you would restart this, and if you want to copy the Marvel formula, like Terry was saying, you start off with a couple of movies, then you go back to your roots, right? You go back to the true roots that I was complaining about. How is it possible that people don't know how is a Superman movie not as successful as Guardians of the Galaxy or Ant-Man 2? So you start over from the golden age characters, right? You have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. There's your holy trinity. From that, you build upon other characters. There was you mentioned Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
Which I think that makes sense because my favorite Green Lantern has always been Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
Kyle's my guy. Hal probably second, but Jon Stewart raised a generation of kids, and those kids are now adults, and those adults have kids of their own.
Yep.
With the Dwayne McDuffie wonderful series, Justice League, the cartoon.
That's what I remember. Yeah.
Justice League Unlimited. Those cartoons were awesome, and everybody's Green Lantern in that was Jon Stewart. Mm-hmm. So not seeing Jon Stewart really surprised a lot of people, especially by now. Even though we got a little bit, did we get? No, it wasn't Jon Stewart. It was somebody else with the Green Lantern ring.
Tease, yeah. In what, Justice League, the revamped?
Guy Gardner has his moments with me.
Yeah.
But I still like Guy. But yeah, I think Jon Stewart is just one of those characters immediately recognizable by a generation after mine that are now older, money spending generations taking their kids to the movie theater. So it makes sense to have a Jon Stewart. And I mean, if you're gonna do the whole the diversity, then you gotta have,
and you got that. You can check
it out. And you go with Hawk Girl instead of Hawkman. We got Hawkman in the
Black Adam
movie. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, those were some of the ideas I was throwing. I mean,
Hawk Girl.
You could definitely do the lineup of Justice League the cartoon. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
And people would really, would go to the theater, recognizable faces, recognizable names. Now,
and go ahead.
I want to hear your opinion. Like how this 10-year plan, what do they have laid out so far?
They haven't laid out an actual plan. They just want to go back to what makes DC great, focus on finding someone who can help helm the plan, much like Kevin Feige, because he mentioned him on the call specifically, and just that they are happy with the projects they currently have now. So, their plan may not be a shared multiverse that we've seen with Marvel, right? They may try to choose just focus on great characters and great stories, but maybe not necessarily make them so interconnected that they have to exist in their universes together. Maybe they leave it open where they could at some point if they want to do some type of team up movie, but at the same time, keep them separate so that we don't have to think, are these all connected? Because let's face it, Marvel has given everyone this idea that everyone has to have a shared universe, which isn't true. We can still have successful films within a franchise that aren't connected like that. And I keep thinking about DC has things like the Black Label, right, in comics. And that's where things like The Batman or The Joker can lay their claim, right? These offshoot movies that aren't part of a larger universe. And they can even call it something like that. They don't call it the Black Label, obviously, but they can call it something like that and make it unique. And we know these are not part of whatever this interesting universe is going to be called.
So Torsten's saying something. He says they need to make movies for folks that aren't familiar with comics to make this successful, though. Absolutely. But those faces and those characters are recognizable, though. They can still do whatever they want to. Even Marvel, I mean, the Avengers films, everybody is a recognizable character from the comics. It wasn't until the second phase that they started taking chances with lesser known characters.
Yeah.
They played it safe in that first phase. They played it safe with what they could do because they don't have access at that time. They didn't have access to the Fantastic Four or X-Men. So they played it safe with what they could do, or Spider-Man. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have started with Fantastic Four or Spider-Man. The fact that there's no connected marketing between Shazam 2 and Black Adam is odd.
Well, The Rock did talk about the fact that he did not want Black Adam's introduction to be in Shazam 2 at all. He said it did a disservice to the Black Adam. I think it did a disservice to him because he wants to be the lead of his own movie. But I think that's why you don't see a connection in the marketing, is because The Rock, in a recent article I read like yesterday or today, he wanted Black Adam to stand on his own, not connected to Shazam initially. So I think that's why you're not seeing that marketing connection.
DC had a plan laid out. I remember when Man of Steel came out, immediately they announced Man of Steel 2, they announced Wonder Woman, and I believe Wonder Woman at that time was penned by Joss Whedon, and they had plans for...
He was supposed to pen Batgirl too, which did not happen. Yeah.
So they had all these ideas, but these ideas never came. It's like, honestly, it feels a lot like the collected editions that they just kept canceling things and moving things around. So people kept getting discouraged. A lot of people lost faith. So, I mean, say what you will about Marvel and their, however you feel about the Phase 4. Is that what phase we're in? Yes, Phase 4.
Yes, we're in Phase 4.
They are still delivering what people expect. Oh, there's going to be a show. I better go watch that show.
Exactly.
Because it means I have to, that's going to be something important in the Kang storyline. They're giving you the outline, which is so freaking smart. Because with that outline means, I already plan to see that movie, but I guess I can watch that TV show. So you're already absorbing the audience. It gives you, you drive on the hype of all these things coming out. That's what DC needs to do. They need to have that, not just hey, we have a 10-year plan. No, you need to actually have a timeline and then deliver on that timeline.
Show us what the timeline looks like, yeah. And yeah, say what you will about Marvel, but they developed a formula that's worked for them. Now they might have to shake it up a bit. They're probably realizing that after what happened with Thor and the lack of success that it did. I mean, he still made money, but not what they probably were expecting. But at least they have now the time and money to do that as well. But the DC do they have the time? They do. They can take the time, like I said, to really think about what they want to do with this universe. And, I think they need to be more strategic about how they work with some of these characters. Like, for example, what Marvel did so well about lesser known characters. Wanda didn't start off getting her own show and didn't become the lead antagonist in Doctor Strange without first going through the motions of being a antagonist turned hero in Age of Ultron, right? So by introducing, if they want to have some type of connected universe, if you want to start introducing characters, like the Blue Beetle project's going to be interesting if we don't know where he fits in, if he's just on his own. But if you were in future projects to introduce lesser known characters to the franchise through other people's movies and then spin them off onto TV shows, which they did do successfully with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad 2 came out. John Cena's Peacemaker was clearly...
that was my favorite superhero.
Yeah. And they spun him off into a very successful, beautiful show. So if they could follow that model, which of course, that's why they are keeping James Gunn doing what he's doing. He's still working for DC because I think he likes the freedom he gets with DC more so than the less freedom he got with Marvel, for example. Sorry, go ahead. What's Jet's comment?
People are just making some really good points here. We do have another super chat from Mr. DC Comics. Yes, what these movies truly need is producers and directors that embrace and understand DC for being DC, like Jeff Johns, not turn DC into Marvel. But if you remember, Jeff Johns does come from that, from movies, right? He was working with Richard Donner, under Richard Donner, and then he came to comics. And then when they put him in charge of movies and supervising movies, that's where we got stuff like Green Lantern. Now, I don't know if Mr. DC Comics loves Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, but that was seal of approval, Jeff Johns. So, how do I put this? Writing comics and writing novels are a lot different than writing for TV and movies.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling should know that.
We talked a little bit about that during our Sandman review, that sometimes what works in comics doesn't really work in movies or TV shows. And I love Jeff Johns. He's one of my favorite writers of all time. But when I saw that he was part of that and he gave it a seal of approval, he was also part of, was it Suicide Squad or something that I just didn't click with me. I was like, really? Jeff Johns?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like it. So maybe they need somebody less from the comic book stuff. Maybe somebody to oversee scripts.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Agreed. But
this is what DC had. hey, I prefer they keep the darker tone. Marvel's getting too. They had that not only just with the tone of the movies, but also visually. They were darker. Like everything was shot at nighttime. It feels
exactly, and that's what they had. And yeah, I agree. Marvel is getting too comedic.
You need to trash the Flash film. Ezra Miller is disgusting. I think at this point, David Finch comics is a bit creepy. You don't. David Finch, like the Nocturne, David Finch, the writer,
Nocturne,
or I mean the artist David Finch. But anyway, I had a point. Sorry, I got distracted by that one. I don't know. I mean, I don't have answers for who they should hire, but I think if they have maybe somebody like Jeff Johns that oversee, it is a difference though. Whenever you have Neil Gaiman overseeing the scripts and helping with the scripts, because that's his baby. Sandman was his baby, right? So he wants to help. Who would you get to oversee the scripts of Batman?
Yeah.
It's really hard, right? Like Tom King, I'm sure Frank Miller doesn't really want anything to do with that. He's busy making his own stuff right now with Dan Didio. But it's like, who do you trust? Scott Snyder? Not everybody likes Scott Snyder. But,
yeah.
You do have an Instagram, Amazing Amanda.
I do have an Instagram. It's called Lass of Georgetown, which I don't even live in Georgetown, so I should probably change that.
You are such a faker. We already talked about Ezra Miller. You missed it. We did. We talked about Ezra Miller.
We talked about them a little bit and what they have gone through the last couple of days.
To kind of give you a recap, though, I said release the stupid movie on HBO Max.
No, we won't do that though. Remember, no more original films on HBO Max. And in addition, guys, let's not forget they just laid off about 70 employees in the HBO Max reality TV department, and they're merging people. I mean, they're doing a lot of cuts and a lot of merging of staff right now at the HBO Max Discovery Plus world at this moment. To lay waste to, apparently they believe Discovery Plus brings more women, which I don't watch reality TV. I guess I'm not a normal woman, but apparently they
just needs a movie veteran and a comic fan, then they'll end up with Kevin Smith. And Kevin Smith is another polarizing creator these days. Because people are like, oh, he's gone too woke. Oh, he's still making fart and dick jokes. It's really hard to please the fans. I say hire somebody that's a no-name.
Unknown, like someone who.
I mean, I hadn't heard of Kevin Feige before.
Neither did I.
I had no idea where he came from.
I mean, over time, you learned about Kevin Feige. If you could find someone who understood Hollywood and understands, I think Terry Young made that comment, someone who understands the Hollywood movie machine and also just loves the property. If you can get that mix for DC, you'd be golden. I think you'd do really well. But I don't know who that person is. It's not going to be any of these people we're naming because they're either one or the other or they're polarizing. So I'm an unknown person. Just bring someone in unknown.
Congrats on the new house, Amanda.
Thank you, Nocturne. I appreciate it.
Like Omar. Oh my gosh. No, because then it would be Nightwing, Nightwing 2, Nightwing's butt, Nightwing 3, Nightwing and Babs. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's how you build my DCEU.
I'd be okay with Nightwing's booty. It's fine.
Mark Waid as a consultant makes a lot of sense. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because that man is a walking encyclopedia. I always think of him and Kurt Busiek as like the walking encyclopedias of all these things, but I don't think they would get. I kind of like. Okay, sorry. Now that's got me thinking.
Yeah.
I hope it's this new 10-year plan. They showcase more solo films. Let us get loving these characters first. That's what Amanda was saying earlier.
Yeah.
With Wanda. Wanda had a character arc, but it didn't happen in the Doctor Strange movie, right? Like the character arc started all the way in Avengers 2.
And then built up. But we didn't have to like merge her entire backstory right into Age of Ultron. We knew kind of what she was. You didn't need that much of her backstory yet. It wasn't until she grew over time and then got WandaVision. Then we really got her backstory in detail.
Yeah, she's an actress now. Kevin naming his daughter Harley Quinn is surprising. DC, man, this is so rich. They can make Superman movie being an alien on Earth, Wonder Woman with Greek mythology, and Batman being the symbol of it. And honestly, I didn't have a problem with the Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is I thought she was great.
Yeah, 84 was an okay movie, but yeah.
No, it was not. It was horrible. Like, it wasn't even an okay movie.
I fell asleep during it.
The first Wonder, thank you, I did too. Yeah. The first Wonder Woman was great, though. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Because Alan Heinberg left?
Maybe.
He was asked off the second one, right? And I think somebody else came in and wrote it. Yeah. So there are people that have dabbled in comics, like like Alan Heinberg, or David Goyer. I know people, when they think of David Goyer, they also think of bad movies too. But he did some really good things for films.
Yeah.
What about a council to overhead DC comic movies? See, I kind of like that. I kind of like this idea.
Instead of like a one person,
instead of just one person, overseeing or approving. But then it's difficult to be that role, right? Because then you still have to please the producers. But producers infatuated with the fact that they like giant spiders, then you're gonna have Superman fight a giant spider.
Unless the producer's also just that one guy, which is Kevin Feige, right? So that's where you get into, if you have to make decisions quickly, which with movies you sometimes do because it costs time and money. That one person who makes those ultimate decisions is usually what they prefer. And I think that's why, even Star Wars has Kathleen Kennedy. Say what you will about what she's done ever since she's taken over the Star Wars universe. But yeah, Disney kind of came in with if we're going to have these franchises, they have one head who kind of handles that as the producer and all,
Well, it makes it all feel like the same type of, or the same flavor, if you will.
Yes.
Right. You're still getting Neapolitan, but it's still at the end like a mixture of all of it. And it feels like you're ending with that Marvel flavor. Maybe that's what DC needs.
That's what Zaslav wants.
The Council of Dweebs. Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. If they don't use her song Bad Romance, I'm going to be mad.
That is, Nocturne is a great point.
Tom Cruise.
That's true too.
We get Tom Cruise.
Because Top Gun Maverick is beating everything out right now.
If you were a betting person, how much would you put on against Henry Cavill ever coming as a Superman? Well, $5 right now, because that's what you super chatted, Mike Irish. So thank you so much for the super chat. That's how much I'd be willing to bet. I say he doesn't.
I think he might.
Wow, Amanda's.
I do. I think he might come back. Given the right script, with given information about what the direction is, if they came to him and said, "Here's what we have and the money," obviously it's going to be a feature film because they don't want to. I think he might come back, and I know there's great Superman storylines we haven't even touched the surface of that he could do, and I think he could come back and maybe introduce at some point another Superman or whatever you want down the road. So given the right push, I think he might do it. He's not getting younger, so if they're going to do it, they got to do it soon. Because he's ended up like Hugh Jackman saying, "No, thank you, I'm done." And then, so they need to do it sooner rather than later.
He seems to like the role of Witcher, so I don't know.
Well, he loves, that's his, that's, the man plays those games, reads those books. That is his life. He wanted to be a girl so bad.
I think somewhere in between he goes to the gym, too.
Well, that's true too, but he's
Thank you for the super chat, Terry. If you could plan a new DCEU, how would you do it? I'm gonna let ladies go first because let's do it. Let's talk about this because that's all we know about the 10-year plan. So let's.
We don't know much about it. They just are gonna hire a Kevin Feige figure. They're going to focus on quality over quantity, focus on feature-length films, not do any HBO Max original films, but still have the TV shows. For me, I think to plan a new DCEU out, I think we do need to have some type of soft reboot where we have a crisis type of situation, whether or not they try to do any reshoots or anything for the Flash. I don't think they will at this point, but I think they've kind of already done that with the Flash. Didn't have reshoots not too long ago, earlier this year, I believe. So I think that they did do some things to make it so that we're left at the end of the Flash with that we're soft rebooting the whole universe. We could still have some of our more popular actors stay on as certain characters like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, or of course The Rock as Black Adam. I'm assuming it's going to do well. And of course, some of the Suicide Squad folks, if you want to keep, Peacemaker on, for example, Wonder Woman, if they want to do a Wonder Woman 3, I know that they had talked about it, but whether or not that comes to fruition right now is up in the air. So you could keep some of these people on, but in like a new universe, which would solve the Aquaman problem of Amber Heard, for example, if they did it that way. But then start to introduce new characters within these main groups' mythologies that can spin off. Like, if we're going to do a Batman, can we eventually get a Robin that becomes Nightwing? Because that would be really nice. A lot of people like to see that, but start introducing some of these other characters in that are already part of some of these bigger characters' names, mythologies. And of course, that also means bringing back Henry Cavill's Superman, which I think would work if they do a soft reboot and they can bring him back. And then, of course, at the same time, I think they should create a, like, how studios have their independent, films, right? They could do like a Black Label type of thing and have their offshoots with their weird Joker films and the Matt Reeves Batman movies if they wanted to, or any strange other things they want to concoct, and they can kind of be an offshoot. And if they label them the right way so people know that they're not part of this overarching thing, then I think that can be successful for them. But it all comes down to, at the end of the day, who they decide to put in charge and what they decide to do with the content. And I don't think they need everything to line up to big, massive event like that Marvel does. I don't think they need to do any of that. They can share a universe without ever having to have a super interconnectedness that leads to this main storyline. They can have team up movies they want, but it doesn't have to necessarily be like, you have to watch this movie to watch this movie, because all of it's going to tie in, which I'm assuming is going to happen, which happened in Marvel's phase 1 through 3, and now looks like phase 4 through 6. So they don't have to do that. They can give us something, just original and standalone. Because Shazam, I love that movie and had barely anything to do with Justice League or anything. Just mentioned Superman. But I love Shazam. It was fun. It was a really entertaining film. And then don't recast the Flash, or just let's leave Flash alone for a while.
So you're in the mindset of doing a soft reboot?
Yes, I am.
I'm under the mindset of let's just go ahead and do a hard reboot. It just, to me, it would just wiping the slate clean, giving people a chance to go see these movies again. And I'm different, though, in the opinion of having these movies connected. Yes, it's the Marvel formula, but they didn't come up with that formula. That comics, the formula's been around forever. I mean, that's a comics formula. They want you to watch these movies. They want you to go see the next movie. And you build up the next movie with the one you're working on. So for me, it's what I think it was Terry that said, yeah, you start with the 3. You start with what makes DC. Superman. And these 3 movies to me have to be different.
But not origin stories, right?
At this point,
we've seen them 100 times, right?
Yeah, but you do an origin story, something like All-Star Superman. You know the story of Superman. All you need is 2 pages.
Yeah.
Smallville boy going to living in Metropolis under the guise of Clark Kent. Yeah, absolutely. You don't need a origin for Batman or Wonder Woman. They've been done over and over. But I think starting with those 3 and making them all different, and I mean different in the tone, different in the way they're shot. Superman has to give us what was missing from these movies, and that's hope, right? Like that's. And I'll be honest. I mean, this may sound stupid, but I mean that's what the world really needs. We need this pure superhero that isn't. I love Peacemaker. It's probably, like I said, my favorite superhero thing I saw this year. That isn't Peacemaker. That isn't Wolverine. That won't kill. Refuses to kill. Like that's what we seem to be missing.
You need a Top Gun Maverick kind of lead. Like you need that feel good.
Oh, absolutely. And
right?
I love Cavill. I thought he was great. And I'm not the biggest. I honestly had no problem with Man of Steel, as big a problem as other people did. I thought aspects of it worked, but you also kind of need the Richard Donner aspect in these movies, right? There's a little almost innocence and pureness to those movies that really don't exist anymore. So if you can find like a nice blend of both of those, baby, you got yourself a stew. Now with Wonder Woman, I was happy with the way they shot the first one. I don't know how you would even top that. Man, maybe that might be a soft reboot then. And Batman.
If you want to keep Gal Gadot.
I mean, in Batman, they could keep Matt Reeves. But Matt Reeves hasn't appeared, or Robert Pattinson hasn't appeared with these cast of characters. So
no, you could keep him on. Yeah,
but that's
he's a different tone.
Okay, and honestly, what could work with Superman to make him stand out above all the other Superman movies and stuff? It's kind of what they've done with the CW show, is bring in the daddy Superman almost.
Yes,
with the beard, right? Like the guy that has kids or a kid,
but not like a CW production, but like more like
no. And that guy's good as Superman. I like.
No, he is. Tyler Hoechlin is. Yeah,
he's good. I really like that show. I think that's what we need. Batman can be the dark character.
Superman.
Wonder Woman is somewhere in between the gray character, right? And then you have Superman,
and then you bring back Green Lantern.
Brightest day and blackest night, baby.
Yeah. And we can eventually introduce the Flash again, but I'm okay with taking a break because honestly, a lot of people want Grant Gustin back, but he's had his 9-season run. I don't know.
10 years of putting on that suit.
That's a long time. I feel like he'd be ready to move on and do more with his career. Because the only other thing I've seen him do recently is a movie about him being a Canadian Mountie who has to take care of a dog that he turns into a canine dog. Anyways, that's like the most recent thing I've seen of it that isn't the Flash. So he may be ready to move on. And maybe we can take a break from Flash, bring in Green Lantern, and then bring Flash back later.
It's just crazy that in the DCEU we haven't had a Superman movie. We've had Batman rebooted. And we've had Wonder Woman, but nowhere did they find it in the schedule to give us another Superman movie while they still had Henry Cavill.
I know.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Terry.
Yeah, thank you, Terry.
New Trinity should not be origins. Have established Bats and Supes. Clark and Lois are already together. Batman already has Robin. And I kind of like that. I don't want to say guys in their 40s or 50s, right? Because you also have to think about contracts and how long you can keep these people. If they have a 10-year plan, then you want to keep these people on for 10 years. And Hugh Jackman could tell you that's the reason he gave up Wolverine, because he was tired of working out. You can't expect these guys to work out and look as good as they do. How old is Cavill? Cavill's what, in his 30s? He's
in his 30s, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Amanda. As a soft reboot, makes the most sense.
That's true too.
Momoa and Wan's. Is it Wan or Wan? Aquaman makes too much money for DC to reboot and park the franchise on a sideline. Have we heard anything about that yet? Have we?
No, I'm assuming if the DC fandom does happen, they will announce a trailer. I think they're trying to quietly take out Amber Heard's scenes in it.
But we struggled at making Superman relevant to the modern audience. That's always been the case, right? That's one of my favorite lines from any DC comic book. Was it was in Infinite Crisis when Batman said the last time you inspired anybody was when you died.
83. He's about my age.
Who?
Henry Cavill. He's almost 40.
Oh, dude, you said 1983. I'm like,
yeah.
No, that's nowhere near. God dang it! We were having.
No! I didn't say anything bad.
You don't super chat it. I ain't clicking on it anymore. You better have a near mint code too next time I see you. But yeah, that's where we're at. But thought they cut Heard screen time down to. I thought they were gonna cut her.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with it, but I think that's mainly the reason why we haven't seen anything yet.
It makes sense with deleted scenes. I agree with Amanda. We need a soft reboot, and plus, just do Superman Rebirth with my boy Jonathan Samuel Kent, Superboy as his 10-year-old self, and boom, problem solved. Dang. Everybody wins.
Well, that would definitely let you have Superman around for a while.
The new Superman in the DCEU. That movie's been scrapped too, right? The movie with the Black Superman.
It hasn't been officially scrapped. There just has not been a lot of movement on it or news on it. And
that's why there's no movement on these movies. They are probably
yeah. Now. I think so too. As far as I think the only reason we haven't heard a lot about these is they don't have a name like James Gunn attached to them. if they like, that's why I think we heard about New Gods being scrapped, is because Ava DuVernay was attached to it. Other than that, I don't think we're going to hear too much about some of these films or TV shows or whatever they planned on doing with these properties they mentioned, because
that was the Ta-Nehisi Coates movie, right? With Grant Morrison, I think.
Exactly.
What about Static Shock? Is Static safe right now? What's going on with Static Shock?
As far as I know, they were still writing on it, working on it, but there's no updates as of right now, from what I could find things. Yeah, the Cyborg movie, interesting. I think that that actor, his time, I don't see Ray Fisher coming back to the DCEU anytime after everything that's gone down. I think
it's kind of burned bridges too.
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet that to cut ties. I don't think we'll see a Cyborg
movie. I don't think the studio would be.
Yeah,
it would be really strange for the studio to be like, yeah.
I think you, if you've read some of the stuff that David Zaslav, who's the new CEO, has said, things he's done in the past with like Discovery Plus, etc. He's all about the properties, and like I think I have a shot here of, is it this one? Is it this one? Okay, so these are this is something they had on their call about their powerhouses. So they recognize that these franchises, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, are important. Just like their 90 Day Fiancé universe out in Discovery.
What the hell?
But
this is what they see as important.
Yeah, and like their brands, the DC universe, like they understand. He understands its importance. David Zaslav does, and I think that for him, he's going to be very strategic, and not just he's going to be very strategic in what he does next with the DCEU and how he moves forward. But I loved seeing this just as much as I love seeing this right here, the reporting structure, who reports to what the studios are, the networks, the streaming services, and then seeing their revenue and stuff. Big Bang, seriously, I know. Yeah, the interesting thing on that is, if you go back to it, they don't even mention Sesame Street. I know that they are getting rid of sex. I know, right?
It's not over. Season 2 of what was it called?
Oh,
Just Like That is coming back.
Like
we might even get Miranda back.
No,
or so I've heard.
Miranda? You mean Kim Cattrall's character?
Oh yeah. What's her name? Not Miranda.
I forget her name.
Miranda, Charlotte,
Samantha. Yeah.
Not that I watch the show or anything.
No, not that you watch that at all.
Yeah. All right, we have a super chat from Omni Nation Comics. What's up, buddy?
Oh gosh, they
kind of answered it already, but I want more. If you guys were to map out your own DCEU, what are your first 8 films you would start? Oh, I'd start with Golden Age. I'm serious. I'm such a Samantha. You're right, dude. I cannot believe I forgot.
Your trio. You want to start with your trio?
Yeah, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. That's what I would start with. What about you,
so you only got 5 left.
Yeah, I got 5. I got this.
Yeah, so what I start with my first 3. So if we do like a soft reboot, I'm thinking we get a new Superman, we get a new Wonder Woman movie, and then I'd also like to see a new Batman that's not the Reeves one, but one that introduces us to a Robin, so that later on, let's say about like maybe by number 7 or 8, we get a Nightwing maybe movie, because I really, as long as they cast the right actor.
You have the same three. You have the same.
I mean, I know. Oh, sorry, but I also want Green Lantern to be my 4th one. I want to see a Green Lantern.
Okay,
come in there.
That's a good one. I think for me, I like the idea of these characters that are obscure. Like Blue Beetle, I think is a cool character to bring in.
The actor who playing him too.
Oh yeah, Cobra Kai, man, I cannot wait. We got to review Cobra Kai season 5. Dude, September's gonna be great. All right,
it's gonna be a busy month.
And if I'm wiping the slate clean, then we'd have to introduce Aquaman. But those are the big 3 that I would do, and then move over to things like the Fourth World, introducing aspects of what the cosmic side of the DCEU looks like. And then I want to do something a little bit obscure. if we keep Blue Beetle, then I want to do Booster Gold. We introduce what the future of the DC universe looks like.
You know, we can get a Young Justice live action, because I'd be all about that.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll get there. We got to get.
If we get Batman with Robin, and then eventually like get another, like then we can get her.
That's 5 so far. I'm trying to think of maybe, I don't know if I would do Hawkman or Hawkwoman.
What about Dr. Fate?
Then people will be like, "Oh, it's just like Doctor Strange." You know what? Screw you. It's my universe. Dr. Fate.
Well, that doesn't matter.
I kind of dig that. Dr. Fate is cool.
I mean, it's just Pierce Brosnan. I would be okay with that. Or if I've had a crush on Pierce Brosnan since Dante's Peak, buddy. When I was a child.
What an odd movie.
It was probably an inappropriate crush to have, but darn it, I love
that British accent. For me, it was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Me and Linda Hamilton. She was in that, right?
Pierce Brosnan was in Mrs. Doubtfire. I love that movie.
Yes, he was.
He was. Robin Williams that was playing Mrs. Doubtfire. And honestly, James Gunn has a lot of fun with Suicide Squad, so I'd bring that back in and do another Suicide Squad Suicide Squad movie. Absolutely, yeah. Okay. And let's say that's 6, so 2 more. Probably something to kind of start bringing things back together. So I kind of want like a villains movie. So instead of doing the Green Lantern route, maybe a Sinestro route. Start him off as the hero. Start him off as the Green Lantern, and then lose his faith and start going off on his own. And to wrap up my first year of 8 movies,
probably get a Black Adam 2. I'm gonna say that we're probably gonna get a Black Adam.
You can have that
because The Rock's gonna have to do it. There we go.
Yeah, most people are probably gonna go see that movie because of The Rock, so he brings in the audience.
Yeah, he brings.
And then movie 8 would be Justice League.
Ooh, a Justice League, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Yeah, honestly, I'd be good with. I did not have a problem with the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I know people did, but I did not. I actually really enjoyed it.
I agree.
You're quiet. You're quiet. No, you.
No, I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, they have nowhere. I'd say they have nowhere to go but up, but they have a lot of great characters they can work with, and if they're strategic about it, which I think Zaslav is, then they can really come up with a good plan, and they don't have to rush it. See, I think the problem that Warner Brothers had before is that they wanted to try to, after they realized what Marvel was doing too late, they wanted to rush it so that they could be just like Marvel. And that was their biggest mistake. If they had taken their time, we probably wouldn't even be in the mess that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, not with the mergers and stuff. That probably was always going to happen because that's business. But as far as the success of the DCEU, if they had just taken their time, we probably wouldn't be having this video right now.
Correct.
Yes.
We would not be having this video for sure.
No, we would not.
But that's what our plan would be. I actually like Omar's plan a lot. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate that. Go, 2 Austin. Black Adam, 2 Black.
2 Black.
Snyder Cut was 100% better than the Whedon one. It was also pretty bad. It's
okay for it to be. It can still be good, but
guys, what are y'all talking about? That was a good movie. We probably would have gotten a Teen Titans movie. There are a lot of Teen Titans show. All right, I like that people are sharing what they. To Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash, Justice League. What's your 8th movie? I'm gonna throw Booster Gold in there.
He wants Booster Gold. Blue Beetle too.
He's already part of it. Glad you mentioned a villain film. I really need a Deathstroke film with Joe.
That is a waste of talent. We saw him once, right? Twice.
The Snyder Cut, baby. The Snyder.
But that's still only technically once.
Well, okay, yeah.
No, technically it's still only once. Oh, and there's that Black Canary movie that's probably not going to happen now.
Green Arrow. I was with Amanda on this. It's like trying to get a little bit away from the CW era of superheroes. So that's why they include a Flash movie either or a Green Arrow.
Yeah, I think it's we've had 5 or 6 seasons of that.
We just call it Martha. Oh, you know that's gonna. Oh, you know I wanted to go that route, but I also wanted to go the cosmic route, so I went with Sinestro.
A Ra's al Ghul would be really good.
That's my favorite Bat villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would introduce the fourth world a little bit later, towards like movie number 7. A Deathstroke movie would make millions. If Joe makes the Deathstroke movie and doesn't strip, it shouldn't happen.
Thank you, Nada.
Part of the what's it called?
Oh, he's one of the
Channing Tatum guys. What are they called?
Yeah, he did a nice striptease dance to Bruno Mars' "Marry You." Don't ask. I did like that. He also did the Backstreet Boys striptease in the same movie.
What movie? What the heck is the movie?
Magic Mike XXL, baby.
Magic Mike XXL, baby. Wow. No Captain Carrot. Oh, Captain Carrot. Batman is a 6 out of 10. That's
you know, and the funny thing is, we're sitting here talking about it just about the movies, but let's not forget that I think that Zaslav's plan will still include scripted series for DC as well. Probably not as much animated, which is such a shame. Because they are moving away from their animation. Like I said, when they did cuts, I think they cut an animation as well and merged some of the things. They're not focusing on kids content except for properties they already own, like Looney Tunes, Cartoon Network shows, for example. Not sure about Sesame Street, but that's another story and for another time. But we haven't even mentioned scripted series yet. We know Peacemaker 2 will come out, but there's
Stargirl safe?
As far as I know, as of right now, yes. But once CW is completely, now is the purchase is finalized, once everything is completely over, I'll be interested to see how long those specific DC properties stay on the air in CW. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. They also aren't spending any money on any outside properties anymore, like licensing agreements and things, because they feel like they have enough between Discovery Plus and HBO, Warner Brothers properties. They don't need to spend money on licensing agreements like Netflix does, for example.
Omar, good evening, brother. I'm currently reading Fourth World Omnibus Once and Future. Sandman was 10 out of 10 for me, and I've never read the comics. And I'm hopeful for the future of the DCEU. That's why we're here. We're all hopeful. We're hoping that they go in the right path. We're hoping to have a plan, and we're hoping to see that plan sometime in the near future, even if they have to postpone DC fandom. At this moment, I just want to remind everybody to smash that like button, please. If you're enjoying the video, talking to us, even if you're watching this later.
Yeah.
I do a really crappy job of reminding people to smash that.
I do too, because we just start talking about stuff.
We just need a GIF. Where's the GIF? Let's get a GIF out there. Smash that like button. Surely we go. There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Meow Nyan. Here's a pitch for an HBO CW show. 2 hip teenage girls who get into hijinks, drama, teen pregnancy thrills. We call it My Two Marthas. I could have sworn you just pitched almost the Trouble, the Marvel comic Trouble, which is like one of the worst comics I've ever read in my life. Mark Miller, the Terry Dodson. It's all the story of Aunt May and Uncle Ben at a summer trip. It's like what's it called? Dirty Dancing with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Any news on the DCEU? I've usually enjoyed their animated movies. I think are they putting a stop to it right now? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, as far as I know, there's no word on animated movies that are coming out like on HBO Max, because he, wants to focus more on theatrical and scripted series. I know as far as animation for HBO is concerned, they cut a lot from that. So specifically for DC animated content, I'm not quite sure, but I imagine that probably took some of the brunt of that as well. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Trouble. Mark Miller's magnum opus. No, I think they had like girls with bathing suits, like actual girls' photo covers is what they had. It was really weird.
That sounds.
I think we're getting a Justice League Ruby. Really? Jensen Ankles just talked about doing Batman lines a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Batman and Long Halloween. Oh, okay.
So it'll probably
told me the trouble with that description. Do not read that book. Super Sons Animated is still coming this fall, I think.
Yeah.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I don't know about any new content, but we'll see what happens from there.
But, we need to establish Melody's viewpoint. Soft reboot, hard reboot. She's the type of she just wants a reboot because she loves that stupid show. Reboot. Yes, Ruby is in the works. Yep, it's a Justice League Ruby. Really? Wow. Okay. Omar, do you have any part in Florence Pugh and Zach Braff? Yes. Yes.
Was not expecting that question to come up in our stream tonight.
She needs a better man. I am that better man. Flesh. Oh my gosh, Florence Pugh. Did they break up? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, she commented. It was very quiet, but she was commenting on it because she was just upset about how invasive people were, like judging their relationship. Because he is around your age and she is 20 something. So there's that large.
Get back up a little bit because when you say it like that, it makes me sound like I'm old.
Well, I mean, I don't. It's just people gave him a hard time about it, but I don't know how. Gave them a hard time. Yeah, she had to talk about it on Instagram a few times. It was just, yeah. So
last time I saw her on Instagram was that pink dress she was wearing. Good for her. Good for
her. I don't know if she's very sad about it. So I don't know if it's like a great thing for her, but okay.
Why is she sad about it? Wait.
Because I think she still cares for him. I
don't know. I meant the pink dress. I thought she was sad about wearing the pink dress.
Oh, no, there's all other kind of drama with that don't worry, darlings, and apparently her and Olivia Wilde are feuding. I could go on and on about Harry Styles. I don't know. It's a thing.
Are you talking about? Thank you, James.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you for the super chat, Terry. The new DCEU Batman could be established with 90s Batman. Dick's already Nightwing. Joker's already put Babs in chair. Oh, dude. And Jason's in the ground. Tim Drake Robin. I like that.
Yeah.
Although I think most people probably want Barbara Gordon as Batgirl these days instead of Oracle. Although she will forever be my Oracle. I love that woman. Batman, son of Thomas. Jason Sudeikis, Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde messed up. Ted Lasso, I got that one. Yeah. Wait, Olivia Wilde is dating Harry Styles?
Yeah, it's dramatic. Oh, we can get into it. I don't think anyone on this stream wants.
How are we not doing a whole stream about that? Who's your favorite DC big bat? Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, you do like him a lot.
I love him.
Who my favorite big bat
is. He is the best, man.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Who you like? You like Joker? You like Jared Leto's Joker, didn't you?
No, you know I don't like
Jared Leto's Joker. Don't you lie?
No, I do not.
I'm trying to think who else. You've seen a lot. You've read a lot.
I know, but it's like hard to pinpoint one that I need to see more of that.
What? No Tim Drake Robin in any future. Dude, Tim Drake is my favorite Robin. I love Tim Drake.
I guess Lex Luthor probably, but maybe only because of what's his name's portrayal and in Smallville.
Damn, I thought you were gonna go with that one kid from.
Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Turned around for me. No. Oh my God, what is his name? And I can't think of it. I even had him do that little video.
Jesse Eisenberg.
No.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Someone help me out. Remind my mom brain who played Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Oh, it only gets worse, Amanda.
God.
Jared Leto is just older Ezra Miller. Reach around Joker. Dick Grayson is the best. Who played him? Come on, Amanda. He also did the voice for the Flash in the animated.
I know. I'll have to look it up.
Oh, I cannot believe you can't remember his name and you're looking it up.
I know, and I even got him to do. Why am I having a blank right now? No, not
it's okay.
Michael Rosenbaum. That's right. Thank you, Hognada. Why did I have that blank? It's because I'm getting old.
Tim Drake is the lamest Robin, especially in the This is shots fired, man. Tim Drake is the greatest Robin. Let me tell you why. Tim Drake is smarter than Batman. Mm-hmm. He figured out that Batman was Bruce Wayne and that Robin was Dick Grayson. He wanted them to get reunited because he always felt like Batman needed a Robin. Batman himself has stated that Tim Drake is a better detective than he is. Tim Drake is the man. You are dead to me. Dick Grayson, Tim Drake. No, Dick Grayson is.
Well, I did like Damian.
Hey, he's his own man. He's Nightwing. He's the best.
You like Damian.
Damian's okay. He's okay.
But Dick Grayson, yeah.
Where are you going? What are you looking at?
I'm just going to look at that Grayson omnibus.
That's not fair. Mikhail Janin draws everybody super sexy and hot.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's like my favorite book I have back there.
Big deal. I found out Batman was Bruce Wayne after a quick Wikipedia search. We didn't have the internet back in 1989, mastermind. We have to rely on our brain. Batman is only a 6 out of 10 detective. That's not. You guys will never let me live that one down. Tell them to read James Tynion's Detective Comics. Excellent. Jason Todd works best as a corpse. Oh, shoot. Shots fired for Red Hood fans out there. So Tim Drake's about a 9 out of 10 detective, I think. Dick Grayson, definitely greatest of all time. He named his name not after Batman. Yes, he did. I would like that. Green Arrow Longbow Hunters, HBO Max show. That's good. Anything else we got to talk about tonight, Amanda?
No, not right now. Not right now.
About 10 minutes.
Not right now. I think we're good for tonight, but we are going to be back Sunday because we have a thing on Friday. Yeah. Got to celebrate getting this new house. And so we will be back on Sunday to give everyone a chance to watch She-Hulk episode 1. I know reviews have started coming in because the embargo is lifted today for those who are better than we are.
Is it just one episode? Nobody's better than us. Go ahead.
No, I mean the true reviewers who are labeled reviewers. They got to see the first 4 episodes of She-Hulk, which there's 9 of them.
That's odd. So it's only 1 episode that's out so far?
Well,
I thought it would come out with 3 episodes or 2 episodes first.
I don't know. We'll see tomorrow, right? It's coming out tomorrow. I think it's only going to be 1 episode.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, we'll be back on Sunday to...
Yes, Phil Owens, you have to watch She-Hulk.
Or you can just listen to us talk about it and you'll get the gist. Remember, I do a synopsis. So do you really want to watch it or just hear me do a synopsis and then talk about it?
We're reviewers. I didn't get jack. Reviewers
got 4 because all of my favorite reviewers are already gave their opinions on it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Then, Amanda.
Awesome. Well, then, thank you guys so much for joining us for this talk about the DCEU. We're really excited to talk about it because we have a lot of thoughts. And yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at nearmintcon. Remember to check us out on Spreadshops for some great Near Mint Edition merchandise. Check us out on Patreon for $1 a month or more. You can support us so that we can keep doing these shows for you and also keep bringing that great content. And it could be you don't understand how much I've written. I've written novel sizes of this Spider-Man fan fiction.
2/3 of it are just straight up.
No, it is legitimate, good fan fiction with plot lines that.
Thank you for the super chat, Jack Ferry. Now we're arguing.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I meant good smut, like not 50 Shades of Grey, but I've never read that, so I don't know what to compare it to.
I'm a classy smut writer. If I write smut, much better than I was when I was a teenager writing and I hadn't had sex yet. Anyways, so just remember, guys. Last but not least, if it's classy or cool, it must be near mint. Good journey. And
that's how you end an episode. Yeah, everybody have a great night.
On Sunday. Bye, everyone.
Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're doing a show. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.